Hello and welcome to Andromaxe's healing guide for Mythic Kargath Bladefist. I'm Andromaxe. I am a Holy Paladin on Eldrithalis US server, and I'm going to mostly discuss some Holy Paladin tips and tricks, but also some general strategies and things that we did with our raid. You'll notice here at the beginning that we have 4 different colored columns. What we're trying to do here is we're going to try to bait, so to speak, the first, perhaps the first Berserker Rush and maybe even the second. So what we have is 2 hunters and a mage who are able to use some of their physical immunities. They're going to take the Berserker Rush for the first few seconds, and then I'm going to be able to Hand of Protection them for the remaining, 8 seconds or so. So at the beginning here, we start out kind of spread out, primarily on the range. The melee is there in the center with the boss, sort of dealing with a lot of that fire AoE that caused them a lot of trouble during the fight, but eventually they kind of figured it out. We're waiting patiently for that first Berserker Rush. Eventually here we'll start moving towards yellow. You'll notice me moving there towards yellow. We try to get kind of snugly there with the boss, not super close, but we want our 3 baiters to be the farthest away so that they're more than likely to get chosen. Right there our hunter gets chosen, so I kind of follow so I can make sure to get him his Hand of Protection when he needs it. Wait a little bit, he signals for me on our Mumble server, and then I give him the Hand of Protection for those last few seconds. You have to be kind of careful. The melee is able to follow the boss, but if the Hand of Protection falls off too early, he will turn around. The boss will turn around and cleave the melee, so you have to be very, very careful with this. You have to be very careful with the timing. There's a chain hurl here that happens in a little bit. We actually sent up our most of our melee up, including a mobile healer. Usually that was our Resto Druid, or our Holy Priests, either one. I'll actually show a clip about that here in the second chain hurl. Here our mage baits the second Berserker Rush, which is really good. That way, that really helps with our crowd meter. Kind of followed, and I almost got my butt kicked right there running through some fire, so you have to be very, very careful. I Hand of Protection him for those last few seconds, and he takes it like a champ. Very good. It really helps out our crowd meter, helps increase, I think, DPS, so to speak. I actually don't know what it does, but I'm assuming it's a good thing. This fight is a lot of avoidable damage, so you'll notice there's a lot of fire swirls that you can just easily move out, get right to the edge, you're fine. Just stop casting, they come down really quick, so don't even bother to finish a cast when you start it. There's not any really good times for cooldowns like Devotion Aura or Avenging Wrath. You just gotta use them when you can. Devotion Aura, I don't know why I did that a little bit ago. It would probably help with a lot of the fire AoE damage that people get. You have to be careful that those fire columns will toss you, like that one just did for me. It will toss you into a tiger pit if you're not careful, so the tiger pits will kill you. That happened to one of our healers early on in the fight, so you have to be very, very careful. Just kind of watch this for a little bit. I was using Holy Prism. I felt like that was a little bit better than using Light's Hammer, but it can be kind of your personal choice. Right about midway through the fight, some of the poison bubbles start dropping, so another thing on the ground you just need to avoid. Here I'm showing one of our melee's perspectives, a Death Knight, who is using, I should say, hold on, he's in the chain hurl, and just to kind of show you this perspective. I have not gone up into the stands on the Mythic fight. We usually took a more mobile healer, like I said, a Holy Priest or a Resto Druid. The nice thing about Death Knights is that they can use Gorfine's Grasp to gather up all of the mobs. That was really helpful up in the stands. If you're up here as a healer, you want to be pretty careful about some of the mobs will drop bombs when they die, and so you have to make sure to move away from them when they have the little timer. You have to be very careful with that. I'm told that after you're done with these mobs, we usually just cleared, I think, one side, and then I think our rogue maybe grabbed the rest on the other side. But when you're done with the top, you just want to, if you jump down, you have to be very careful not to jump into a fire pit or any other nasty stuff on the floor. Supposedly there's some kind of scrubber that will push you off and toss you back into the arena, but I personally haven't seen that, so I just jump off when I need to. Something else is that the tigers do come out of the pits. What's really nice is that closes up the pit grate, so you can see it on the left hand side there that it's closed, which is really convenient. The tigers typically targeted, it seemed like it targeted mostly ranged DPS, although I did see it target healers occasionally. The ranged DPS just need to make sure to kite them into the fire just like you would normally do for the Berserker Rush. All our ranged ended up changing targets over to the tigers and trying to kill them as fast as possible. You don't want those tigers running around too much. It does cause a lot of mobility issues with some people. So again, there's not really a good time for cooldowns in this fight. Just it's a pretty consistent fight. There's not a lot of phases or anything like that. You just keep doing what you're doing. I think right about here is where I'm gonna start solo healing the fight. It gets pretty nasty towards the end, especially if you run out of mana or some of your healers are dead. Some of the damage can be pretty extensive, especially the first few times you do this, and people are still trying to learn how to avoid things. I should mention that with our tanks, we let them use a personal cooldown for the first Impale that they would take, and then we had either Hand of Sacrifice. This is where Clemency comes into play a lot. You can use Clemency for both Hand of Protection and Hand of Sacrifice for your tanks. We used Guardian Spirit 2 and Iron Bark, so that was kind of the three main heal cooldowns we could use on tanks for that second Impale. It can hurt pretty badly at the end. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Comment below, give me some likes, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thank you.